What's up, you guys? I'm Dan. This is Frugal Not Cheap. Let's take an autonomous drive in Tesla's full self-driving software to the grocery store, talk a bit about version 12, which is coming up, and also the recent Tesla quarterly earnings call. Okay, there. Beta's engaged. Here we go. See how we do with this. All right, there's a little nits and nag, not a problem. Here we go, waiting for the gate. Okay, gate's clear, and took a second, but it did start planning the path. Here we go. Gotta take a left turn here. And it's kind of an iffy sort of situation, so tends to be very cautious and creep forward, which is great. Okay, a little bit aggressive there, and I don't like how it blasted in the middle, but that's okay. And here we go, creeping forward. This guy should be turning. Sure, yeah, very well done. And we're waiting here in the median, and now proceeding appropriately. Very, very good. All right, that was pretty sweet. I have to say that was really pretty sweet. One of the reasons I wanted to film this is because a lot of times when you first get a version downloaded, it seems like it sort of performs kind of its worst when you first get it and then starts to improve over time. So I wanted to do that, and then also because we have gotten a whole lot of news about the development of the FSD software recently. Not only news, but actually some visuals. So, you know, back in, oh gosh, what was it, maybe August or so, Elon had done his live stream of FSD version 12, which is, as he called it, nothing but nets, all neural nets.
All right, I think we are now live. Ashok just dropped a sort of random pin. We don't know where we're going, really. Just somewhere in Palo Alto.
Well, we started to see kind of more deployments to employees within the company later on. And I'm just trying to see if we're going to slow down to get behind this this car, who's, yeah, I don't know. Definitely they were, yeah, it's fine. That worked out very well. The car slowed down appropriately, and we were able to get into the correct lane that we need to be in order to make our right turn. Very well done, Beta. So far, this drive is going gangbusters. I'm really, really happy with this performance and with its aggressiveness. I do have it set on assertive. Anyway, so we were seeing version 12 start to roll out to what's called Wave 1 employees at some point. You know, first it was just sort of top executives and whatnot. I'm going to have to intervene here. As you can see, that flashing light up there means that the school zone is in effect, and we need to be going around 25 miles an hour in order to be compliant. So I've just manually set the speed down here to 25. So then we started to see a lot more leaks on Twitter. Just, you know, employees were being allowed to post about what their experiences were on FSD Beta. For some reason, it changed the speed limit there, so that wasn't good. And now it's worried about this van here, which apparently wanted to cross 1 billion lanes. Oh, I'm having to keep resetting the speed here, which is pretty annoying. So I'm going to keep an eye on that here. But it seems like every time we pass one of the speed limit signs, it changes. So these are kind of things that I hope that Beta 12 is going to be able to handle in the future, but it could be tricky to program that in. I mean, for it to learn these kinds of things, but I imagine it can eventually.
So you can see the max speed is set to auto, so it comes up with its own speed now, rather than you setting the speed up or down. So if I set the speed up or down, it doesn't do anything. It's just entirely figuring out itself.
All right, now we're past, and we can go back up to regular speed. So after these leaks and kind of the hyping up and a lot of talk about FSD Beta, finally it was released to some random customers out there, probably like close friends of, you know, executives and that kind of thing. But one notable personality that got it was, of course, Omar from Holmar's blog or Holmar's catalog. And so he's got a bunch of videos on YouTube and also on X that you can check out that show his experience with FSD v12. And there are a lot of really encouraging things that are coming out of that. We're seeing one that it can start from a parking spot and it can park itself in a parking spot, or at the end of the drive it'll pull over to the side of the street to let you out.
All right. Happy Tesla earnings day, everybody. We're back again with FSD Beta 12.
Pulls out nicely, and then the really cool thing is that at the end it's going to park itself as well.
So here we are at the destination. Once again, FSD 12 has taken us parking spot to parking spot with zero intervention.
So that's really, really cool. Even better,
it's not a bad thing. It doesn't mean they're going to stop making vehicles with controls. All their vehicles have controls. There will be a $25,000 compact crossover with controls, I believe. Where's it going? But I think it also makes sense to have a vehicle without controls. With steer-by-wire, it's what is it doing? This is really interesting. Okay. Huh. It ended up in a parking spot. Oh my god.
so this is great, obviously, for robotaxi, but also just the right thing. Like right now, you know, I have to start the drive, then engage the FSD software. Then when we get to our destination, I've got to disengage the software and perform the parking maneuver by myself. It'll be really cool when it's able to do the entire drive from start to finish, all on FSD. On top of that, we're seeing a lot more smoothness.
So we got two hardware 4 cars, a Model Y and a Model S.
Still not coming to a complete stop. We're like behind a pedestrian.
Yeah.
So
It's really natural with just handling that kind of stuff.
She's like walking into our path, and it's still my god.
Yeah.
It's the small things.
No.
With version 12, it's all about the
that's
small
not
things.
a small thing for me, because in San Francisco, there's always people walking. FSD Beta would drive me nuts, just stopping for people, waiting for them to cross completely, like acting like a robot, slamming on the brakes around them. Now it's just natural.
And especially like I've been complaining about hesitancy with right turns because, you know, it'll go slower when someone's kind of riding your tail, and that's kind of the wrong thing to do. They're tailgating you, they want you to keep going faster, and it's kind of dangerous to slow down even more. In general, just added smoothness, more ability to go through obstacles, like I was going through, you know, fire trucks and cones and all those kinds of stuff. So here it is. Normally, Beta would probably freak out a lot in a situation like this. Version 11 would certainly. And here it is, just kind of cruising along. No stops yet. It's the lowest speed I saw was a 4 or 5 miles an hour. So it's just creeping. Nothing dangerous, but creeping. Here we go, back down to 5 because of that guy. And down to 1 here for the stop. Well, 0 for the stop. Perfect. Really, really wild. So really some promising things coming out of there. Of course, to, you know, set expectations. It's not going to be perfect. It's going to have other issues that were not present before because it is a new architecture.
Okay, here's a good test of the sort of occupancy network that's internal to it.
Yeah.
Because we got to really slip through
Yeah, it has to kind of make a wider turn than usual here to get through there.
Yeah, it has to slip through 2 billiards or whatever you call those things sticking up in the road. So let's see what it does. Come on. Oh. Okay, that didn't look too good.
A little sketchy there. What we're doing here is we're replacing 300,000 lines of computer code that was, you know, hand done, and we're replacing that all with neural nets just trained on tons and tons of video, which is really, really cool. So I'm excited to see that. Elon on the recent Tesla earnings call said that this would be rolling out to customers more widely in the coming weeks. No greater specificity than that. And I'm glad he didn't say 2 weeks, because 2 weeks often means, I don't know, 2 months, 2 years, you never know. It seems to be kind of a joke to him at this stage. But in the coming weeks is promising, and it does seem to be, I mean, the software is on quite a number of cars. It's about 200 customers, and then also thousands of employees as well. So yeah, promising signs that we'll see a wider rollout, and I really look forward to testing that with you and showing you how it performs. And I guess the last thing, because we're just about our destination here, is that there was a lot of negativity, at least in terms of the stock price following the earnings call. I think a lot of the Wall Street guys were upset that no solid numbers were given for guidance for volume for 2024 or for gross margins for 2024 and all this kind of stuff. But I just think, as they very clearly explained, that we're in between sort of two growth phases. It's having trouble with this. I'm taking over. It was sticking its left-hand side a little bit too far for my liking. It probably would have been safe, but I don't like it. It's just not, it wasn't a comfortable turn. So unfortunately I had to disengage there right at the end. Tends to happen on that one. It's a relatively narrow road, and that truck was kind of not as far to the right as it could have been, leaving not as much room as there otherwise might have been for me. But here we are at our destination, so I would say that Beta performed really quite well. Hopefully version 12 will do even better. But I'm pretty happy with this drive that we had today. Again, coming back to the earnings call, Tesla clearly explained that they're between two really big growth waves, where recently they ramped up Model Y, and then they are ramping up Cybertruck this year, but it's not going to be a huge product most likely right off the bat. But the next big wave that's coming after Cybertruck ramps, and then of course we're going to have Tesla Semi as well, is going to be the next generation vehicle, which is going to be at least two things. It's going to be one, a much cheaper compact crossover, and then it's also hoped for this one to be the actual robotaxi, and it is slated for production in the second half of 2025. And there's a lot of work, a lot of groundwork that needs to be put into play before that's able to happen. And so they're going to initially start production here in Austin. But that was really the focus of the conference call, is like, hey, this big mass market product is coming up that's going to be more down market and really extend the reach of Tesla to many more owners that are not able to afford it. And then hopefully, and they didn't talk about this, but of course we know the hope is that with robotaxi, then the reach will go even further, and it's going to be pretty wild. So all this comes together, I think, as we watch the progress with full self-driving in version 12, and then as they're able to iterate on that hopefully very quickly this year, that increases the promise of what this next generation vehicle could do as a robotaxi. So really exciting times ahead. We'll have to see if they can execute, but I believe that they have a really good shot at doing so. That's all for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like button and consider subscribing. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.